Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 135 of Classic Leap. My name is Scott. I'll be hosting tonight. You know, I shouldn't say that when it's just you and me, Dustin. It doesn't make sense. I'm just so used to saying I'm hosting tonight, so
it's your thing.
I guess so. It's part of our branding. Not really. It's just what I'm used to saying. But welcome to Classic Leap. We are a video game podcast. Like I said, this is episode 135. And it's just going to be Dustin and I tonight. Unfortunately, Josh isn't going to be with us. But we should still have a pretty good show for you. Dustin, I'm a little nervous. It's going to be a short one. There's no freaking news to talk about, man.
Well, I can tell you about how I went for a run before the show, and I was 2 miles into my 4-mile run before I realized that I put my shorts on backwards.
Oh. So were you like chafing and stuff?
No, I just I was wearing shorts that had a decal on the outside, and I looked down to see, I couldn't remember which side it was on, and I looked down to see it, and I didn't see it, so I looked on like the side of my leg, and I realized that my shorts were on backwards.
There you go.
I was like, well, I can't do anything about that now.
So on my way home from work, right before we started recording, I had a weird thing happen. I was listening to some electronic music, and it's like the weather has been crazy today. It's been nice and hot, but it's been raining and like real aggressive thunderstorms and whatnot. So I'm listening to this electronic music, and all of a sudden, I think I hear tornado sirens. So I'm just driving along, thinking that it's part of the music that I'm listening to. And then when the track stopped and the sirens were still going, I realized that they were signing off real tornado sirens on my way home from work. Do you have tornado sirens?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, because I don't know. It gets a little hilly towards where you are, so I don't know if you guys got tornadoes or not.
Yeah, they went off not like last week, I think.
We, the first Monday of every month at 10 o'clock is when ours kind of go off as a test. But yeah, it kind of spooked me out a little bit. And what was weird is I'm looking around the road, and there's no urgency in any car around me. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, I'm looking for a funnel cloud. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, yeah, I had that happen to me today. And then, as I was telling you before we started recording, I wanted to get a new laptop, right? And I opted to get a golf membership instead.
Right.
And you think I made the wrong decision?
I think you're going to get a lot more use out of the laptop than the golf membership.
Probably would have. But I will say this. Not that a golf membership isn't frivolous, but the computer would have felt extra frivolous because I rarely use that laptop. It just bothers me that it's as slow as it is.
Oh, okay.
It was a $350 laptop that I bought maybe like 4 years ago. So it's running a really low-end AMD processor. It's dual core. It's a piece of junk, but it does work, and it's allowing us to actually trick Skype into having the windows the way that we want for the podcast, which is nice.
It's doing its thing.
It's working. So yeah, but I'm pretty excited because now that the weather's broken, it's nice out. I can start to finally play some golf.
Yeah.
So definitely looking forward to that. But since news is so light, man, let's save that towards the end of the show, and let's just talk about kind of what we've been playing recently. So what have you been up to, games or not?
I beat The Last of Us remastered on Survivor Plus.
Nice. That's been a build-up for like the last 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah. I finally got around to it. And I was looking through the trophies, and I realized that they had separate gold trophies for the hardest difficulty. The Grounded and Grounded Plus difficulties.
Is that why you didn't see... Because didn't you not see trophy difference between the 2 highest difficulties?
Right.
Okay, but there is actually one.
There is one. There are 2 separate gold that are specific for the remastered version.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So, when I saw those, I downloaded Axiom Verge and played that instead.
Okay, congratulations on 2 fronts.
Thank you.
One, And probably the most important is Axiom Verge. It's a good game, right?
Yeah, it is good.
But most importantly, you're done with a zombie game, and we're actually able to move on from it.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't want to burn my. That's a great game, and I didn't want to burn myself out on it. So I was like, I need to shelf this for a minute.
I didn't know how you weren't burnt out on it already.
I was actually starting to get that way.
Were you?
Yeah, towards the end. I was in sort of the middle of the game. I was in Pittsburgh, and I was fighting human enemies, and I was just kind of banging my head. I was kind of half paying attention. I was doing it over and over. I was trying to be as sneaky as possible because I was trying to save up as much ammo as possible. And I was kind of doing it thinking like, man, I kind of wish I was doing something else right now. But I'd already got myself that far, so I was like, I'll just go ahead and finish it.
Sure.
But when I got to the end of the game, I had so much ammo, I just steamrolled everybody.
So, at what point of the week did you make the transition away from Last of Us and into Axiom Verge?
It's been a while. Maybe like the day
What's
after,
up, ladies?
like last Friday.
Okay.
This weekend, last weekend. So I've been playing it for a minute.
If you were to guess when it comes to Axiom Verge, how far your progression is, do you think you're like in the first third? Are you halfway through? More than that?
I'd say I'm around. I'd say halfway.
Okay.
Just where the story is, it sounds like I'm getting into the thick of things. So I think I'm around halfway.
So, how is the platforming?
Pretty good. I like the platforming.
Is that a core mechanic of the fun of the game? Because that is with Ori. Like, actually the physical jumping around and the way that Super Meat Boy, it was satisfying to maneuver in the world.
Right.
Ori was like that. So I guess I'm trying to figure out how excited I need to be for Axiom Verge to come out on PC.
It's not as in-depth as Ori.
Okay.
It is something a little bit closer to like a Super Metroid.
Okay.
Where platforming is a part of it, but it's mainly just part of the progression. Either like you can't get up to a spot because you need an item or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's certainly, well, I haven't hit anything as action-based as like the one video that you put up. That's actually doing really well.
Yeah, which unfortunately someone else was getting all the ad revenue from it, so I shut it off. Shut off the ads on that. But yeah, that is the waterfall level, or the rising water level. Yeah. It's just I can't wait for you to have an opportunity to play Ori, because it's so satisfying to jump around and maneuver, and that level that I put up on our YouTube channel where the water's kind of rising from the bottom, that's the equivalent of a boss fight for Ori. There aren't really boss fights. So when it comes to Axiom, have you run into many bosses yet?
Yeah, they're cool. Big boss fights. They like, as you hurt them, they turn more and more red and speed up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just like turtles used to do back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. And they are enormous. I mean, like, they will have to like zoom out in order to like make all the boss fit in the screen.
Oh, that is awesome.
And you're like this big on the screen.
Yeah.
Fighting the boss. The biggest, I do have some problems with it, and the biggest one being, I feel really weak against the normal enemies. I've died quite a few times fighting normal enemies. I have, and it feels like it takes forever to kill enemies.
So Ori started to have that problem for me. Is I never felt more powerful, even though I was leveling up my items. Mm-hmm. The attack wouldn't be satisfying, and there was a lot of repetition with the enemies. Is there good variety with Axiom Verge as far as enemy types?
Yeah, they're pretty different depending on like where you are in the world. And
so what other issues might you have?
That's basically my only one.
Okay.
Is that because like I want to explore and I want to go all over this world, but it takes forever because I'm trying to stay alive and kill all these enemies.
Gotcha.
But I did just unlock a grappling hook, kind of like a bionic commando.
Nice. That's exactly what I was picturing, actually.
Yeah, it works pretty well, but I would have preferred a double jump. Hopefully, I get a double jump.
Does it give you a tremendous amount of reach? Or is it... because Bionic Commando, if I remember correctly, didn't give you a ton of reach. It just allowed you to get up to a platform that a double jump would suffice for.
Yeah, I would say that fully extended, it's probably like 2 or 3 times your character's height.
Okay.
So it's a pretty good length.
I just realized, looking at my sweatshirt, that it's all backwards. Does it look backwards to you?
No, not for me.
It does on the recording, so it's going to be really interesting to see how this shows up.
I think you'll be fine. I can check the stream.
It's just bomb backwards. It's not going to bother me either way.
People are going to be like, B-Mob.
Yeah, B-Mob. So, yeah. I don't know. Did you buy Axiom Verge, or was it on sale? Or did you get it gifted?
I picked it up.
Okay.
For, I think it was $17.99 because I'm PlayStation Plus member.
I wish that there was a port for PS3 for it.
Yeah, probably it's doing well, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that.
Or maybe the reason I was wishing that there's a PS3 port is because I don't think that the PC version is going to come for a while. So PS3 version would be awesome for me because I get to play it right away. Because I don't even think the Vita version's out yet.
Right, yeah, I don't think it is either.
But Josh was saying last week that Axiom Verge just felt like a phenomenal game for the Vita.
Yeah, I think it would work really well. Although it does uses some of the triggers, so I'm not sure how that would work. Because you have like a drill that you use.
Okay.
And it's on the R2 button. So I guess that wouldn't be, because it's not something that you need like a twitch reflex kind of thing. So I guess you could use the back touch screen thing.
Okay. Maybe that's part of the hold up in the coming out, is just getting the controls down. I don't know. It's a game that I can't really wait to play. So I'm doing my best to not watch anything on it, like Hot Pepper Game Reviews on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
They just had an Axiom Verge review come out, and I couldn't watch it just because I didn't want to see any of it. I'm okay talking with you about it because you know how sensitive I am to spoilers.
Yeah.
So I know that you'll talk around it the right way, and I can ask some pretty direct questions, and you're not going to give too much away, but still being able to talk about the game.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it fun right out of the gate? Because you said you liked it, so or is there a ramp up to it?
I got pretty deep in before I hit stupid enemies getting too tough for it to be fun. But it's good. I'm trying not to overhype it. I don't want you to think it's like the best game ever, and then you get to it and you're like, meh.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'll be surprised if anything beats Ori for me.
Right. Yeah.
I really will. And it really comes down to how much fun like the platforming and stuff was. It wasn't the exploration that I loved. It was really the satisfying platforming and the puzzles that were behind the platforming. And Axiom Verge isn't really offering that. Like, it's much more of a Metroid game. And I've never really played Metroid before. I've played a little bit of Super Metroid. I used to rent Metroid 1 on the NES, but I never really got into it. I never played any of those Wii ones or that GameCube one. I do remember the GameCube one being at a kiosk at a GameStop while they were demoing it. What was the name of that? The GameCube one. It came out near the launch of the GameCube.
Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other M is the Wii one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And they actually did a trilogy.
Yes.
1, 2, and 3 for that.
which sells pretty well, I think, or sells for a decently high price online. The trilogy.
Yeah, the steel clamshell.
Mm-hmm.
That one goes for a bit, like $75 to $90, depending on who you buy it from. But I think they did a re-release that's just in a normal shell.
Okay.
I think that might be a little cheaper.
Gotcha. And can you get those games digitally through the eShop or anything? Okay.
If you have enough coins, you can get off of Club Nintendo.
Oh, nice. I do not.
I have like 140.
I've got a weird number too. I think I might have like 80 or something.
I can't get anything.
Nah, me either. I am getting a sweet shirt sent to me.
Oh, yeah. I saw that shirt. I was on Club Nintendo the other day.
Yeah, I think it looks rad. But other than a digital game, I'm going to end up losing, right? So, yeah, man. What games are you looking forward to playing? Or is there anything on your radar?
I still need to play Resident Evil Revelations 2.
You mean like more?
Yeah, I played the first episode.
Oh,
I haven't actually
that's
finished
right.
it.
That's right. That's episodic.
But that's all. It's all of it's been released, and I've downloaded it all. I just have to find time to get in and play it. What else? I'd like to play Bloodborne. Dark Souls 2 just released on PS4. I'd like to play that. Bunch of stuff. Yeah. I still haven't played Wolfenstein, which I bought like 2 weeks ago.
And you're forgetting a big one, Dustin.
Is it Heroes?
Yeah.
I still haven't.
I bet you haven't even typed the code in.
I haven't, not yet.
I knew it. That's funny.
No, man. I've been one thing I have been doing is going over just all kinds of different computer stuff, like be it like security, actual like classes that I have, infrastructure, Linux. I've been like listening to a lot of Linux podcasts, so much so that I've been dreaming about Linux commands.
You nerd.
Yeah.
That's hardcore, man.
I still suck at all of it, which is the really big bummer.
Yeah, but podcasts, even if you listen to it kind of passively, you're absorbing some of that information. It's amazing what you learn if you listen to a podcast on a particular subject over and over again. Like with Hearthstone, I learned a lot about the cards and the names of the cards and what they do just because I passively listened to a podcast called The Angry Chicken. I still don't have all the names down, though. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is one of the pitfalls of recording weekly when we have busy lives, because I haven't been playing much either. So there's no news to rely on. You've played 2 games, and your back catalog is getting vicious.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
If I ever become a billionaire, I'll probably be able to get through my back catalog.
Yeah, right. If you become a billionaire, you'll be buying more crap. Like you can't buy time, but you would buy more games than you would have time to play.
I don't know. If I was a billionaire, all I would do would be play games.
That couldn't be all you would do. You still have to run with your shorts on backwards. No?
Yeah, I guess. But most of my time would be devoted to playing video games.
I would play a ridiculous amount of video games if I was a billionaire.
It's not like I would have to work.
And I'd have like a gold dipped case. Maybe white gold. Can you do that?
Sure, if you're got enough money.
I like the color of like silverish or silver or platinum or whatever. That's what I'll do. I'll just get a platinum coated PC case.
Yeah.
Just always have the newest hardware. That would be fun.
You'd need like 18 fans, but yeah.
But you know what? Even if I was a billionaire, I think I live in a pretty small house now. I couldn't see myself upgrading to that big of a house.
Oh, no.
Like, I realize that if you're a billionaire, you could pay someone to kind of upkeep the house. Mm-hmm. But I'm such a private person, I wouldn't want to have, like, hired help around me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I wouldn't want a big mansion either.
Unless it was like the blank check kid. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, that was a weird movie.
It was a very weird movie. The 90s had all sorts of stuff for like 12-year-olds to feel like Superman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it also had this kind of weird romantic undertone between him and the like a secret agent lady.
Yeah, which was really, really wrong.
Like creepo kind of wrong. Yeah.
Because, I mean, they if I remember correctly, they kind of played it off where she was like, oh, no, I understand that you have a crush on me, but I'm a little too old for you.
Yeah.
But if I remember correctly, like as a little kid, you felt like maybe he's got a shot.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like there's a little too much of that going on. Yeah, weird movie. That was before Apple was Apple. Him calling himself Macintosh.
Yeah. Man, I need to watch that movie.
I mean, Apple was Apple then too, but it was just crazy. So
I wonder if it's on Netflix.
I don't know. Oh, speaking of movies, so you know how I have been a Blu-ray ripper for a couple years now?
Mm-hmm.
I filled up my hard drive, my 3 terabyte hard drive.
All right.
So, Jinx, you owe me a cough. So because I'm out of space, and I can't really afford to just go buy a hard drive now. I decided that I was going to re-encode all my Blu-rays, that I was too lazy to do that the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't re-rip them, but I took the raw rip file and threw them through a program called Handbrake, which compresses the files, but does a really, really good job of it. So I would have a file that would go from 25 or 30 gigabytes down to like 5 or 7 gigabytes.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for all the movies that I have. And now I have, I don't know, like 1.3 terabytes of space.
Wow.
But the software is cool, but it's open source, so it has some issues. The cool thing is it lets you set up a queue. So I was able to go through and just make a whole huge queue of all the movies that I needed ripped and throw them into one folder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing, I couldn't figure out a way to not have it max out my CPU. So it puts your CPU at full load to do the compression. So when that happens, you kind of can't do anything else.
Right.
My main PC felt like my stupid laptop I was complaining about earlier. Like I'd try to open the browser and it would go really slow. So it was 48 hours roughly of straight encoding that I did.
Uh-huh.
So it was like I didn't have my computer for 2 days. It was weird.
Oh, man.
Like I wasn't playing any Hearthstone. I wasn't playing any Heroes. But I was playing a lot of 3DS.
Oh, right on.
Which is...
I forget those exist.
You shouldn't. They're great.
I hate handhelds. I hate holding the thing that I'm looking at. I don't...
But you put so much time into different PSP games and a little bit of
Vita
stuff.
I almost never finish them.
Oh, because
like I'll be playing and I'll start doing this, like I'm tilting the thing forward.
Yeah.
And I'll start playing like crap and I'm like, why am I doing that? Oh, because I'm not looking at the thing straight on.
Yeah.
Like I get too into my games, so.
Which is why the new 3DS is great, because the eye tracking really helps a lot. It still goes out of focus from time to time, but it's way better. So. Yeah, but I don't know, man. That Blu-ray rip project, even though it took my PC down for 2 days, it was awesome. And now, because the files are smaller, they're playing better through my Plex services, like on my tablet, on my Roku, stuff like that.
That's cool.
Because what Roku does is it transcodes everything, so there's some compression there anyways. So that was the reason that I left the files as huge as they were, because I figured if it's going to do some transcoding and I'm going to get something that was compressed, I don't want them compressing a compressed signal before it gets to me. Mm-hmm. But this Handbrake software just did a really good job, and this stuff looks crystal clear on my tablet when I stream it. Like I started watching the Amazing Spider-Man last night.
Mm-hmm.
kind of a good movie.
Oh yeah, I like the first one.
I thought, wow, that's really good. 2 I haven't seen yet, so I don't know. But
I was not as big a fan of that one.
Did they do the same thing where they tried to cram a bunch of enemies into it?
That and there was a lot of them like talking. He and what's her face?
Emma Stone?
Yeah, whatever her name was.
Gwen Stacy?
Gwen Stacy, yeah.
I could watch her talk though.
Oh,
you don't like her?
Emma Stone's fine. She's a beautiful woman, but I wanted something to happen.
Oh, gotcha.
So bad. It was like, imagine if you went to see the Age of Ultron and like 2 hours of it was Captain America and Black Widow on a date.
Okay, that would suck.
You're just like, do something.
Yeah.
Do something.
Which that comes out shockingly soon. We're like 2 or 3 weeks away from Age of Ultron coming out.
It's gonna be awesome.
I think I might break my anti-movie theater rule when it comes to that movie. I might go see that one. It's not that I won't go to a movie at the movie theater. It's that I won't go to a movie at the movie theater when the movie just came out.
Right.
Because there's crowds of people drive me insane. There's always some asshat in there. But this is one of those times where I'm gonna have to kind of suck it up because I don't want to deal with any spoilers, and I don't really know anything about Ultron.
Me either.
So I'm gonna be going in having the Avengers movie explain to me what Ultron is and all of that stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to the actual experience so much, but it should still be fun.
Hopefully it'll go super well for you.
You know, another thing with it is it's going to be such a popular movie, and my friends that I'll be going to see it with are like hardcore, so they'll go see it like opening day, which means that we're going to have to go crazy early, like before the previews even start. We'll be there when they're just showing local ads for like your local credit union or whatever.
Mm.
Do you guys have those local ads that run continuously?
Totally.
Which these things run even before. Occasionally we'll have like some trivia stuff, or maybe that's not our movie theater. Maybe that's another one I've been to. Have you ever seen that where they'll have like movie trivia?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Even if it's not questions, it'll just be like random facts.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hey, blah blah did this on the set.
Yeah, Anne Hathaway's first screen appearance was. Yeah. So cool, dude. Anything else you've been doing gaming wise? You rearranged anything in your office? Have you been eyeballing any new old systems?
I've been thinking about stuff because my birthday and my graduation is coming up almost on the same day.
Oh, really?
So I'm thinking of what I'm gonna treat myself to.
What might be one of the things? Because you have a pretty awesome collection. You've got a CDX. You've got all the major systems, like your NES or Super Nintendo, Genesis, that kind of stuff. You've got TurboGrafx 16 with a CD, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or
I got
Turbo Duo or whatever.
Actually, I have two. I have Turbo Duo and the TurboGrafx 16.
Oh, awesome.
You
don't like handhelds, so you're not going to be getting any of those.
Maybe. Well, I don't want to do 3DS. I don't have a Jaguar.
You'd have a little buyer's remorse. Oh, did you see they're coming out with a new retro console? Oh, I wish I had more information on this. Games 81's involved with the guy, but basically they're coming out with this new cartridge-based system, and they're using the original Jaguar dies to make the system.
Oh, man. Do the math.
I don't remember those commercials that well, but I have seen like that campaign so much as a thing that comes up on YouTube from nostalgic reasons. Like people will play the do the math slogan all the time on YouTube. So I feel like I remember it more than maybe I did.
Right. Yeah.
Like I'm fully aware of it, but yeah, now I don't know where like it's modern memories or like actual memories. So yeah, I don't know, man. I guess I can get into what I've been playing. Last week I said I was gonna have people over for a cookout.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the weather wasn't very, very good. I did. Plenty of people came over. It was a lot of fun, but we had to basically stay inside. So Fibbage was busted out.
Oh yeah.
Huge hit. And the thing that's amazing about Fibbage is really all you need is one turn and you understand the game.
Yeah.
And that's amazing because it's a relatively deep game. There's the meta of trying to figure out what people are going to think is funny, but maybe real. It's just awesome. The whole voting scheme and all of that. What was funny is my one buddy Mike. He's a stand-up comic, so I assumed that he would be like unbelievable at this game. And it was just comical how bad he was. He just kept getting screwed over. It was funny. And then my buddy Luke, who just moved back to Ohio, was killing it. He either tied for first or got first in every single match that we played.
Oh wow!
Like he was really, really talented at it. It was fun. So Fibbage was a big hit. If you don't have the Jackbox Party Pack, but you think you might have friends over, it's almost worth getting.
Absolutely.
Just on the off chance,
$5.
Yeah, just on the off chance you might need it. And we didn't even get to like the drawful or whatever it's called, or you don't know Jack or any of those other games. We just played Fibbage for probably about 2 hours. Killed a couple phones. The battery life went dead in a few of them, but and then also I've been playing a lot more Shovel Knight on the 3DS. It feels kind of like I'm just chipping away at it. I'll play a level, and because of the sleep function, I'll just get to a checkpoint and then shut the system. Not off, but I'll just close the system up, and then I'll go to the next checkpoint. So I'm using it kind of like save states, which is totally different than PC because once you start a level, if you exit that level, you lose all your progress.
Oh man!
So, have you not played Shovel Knight?
Forever ago.
Okay, so do you remember those little beacons that you could break?
Mm-hmm.
And those were your checkpoints? If you're playing the PC or console version, you don't have the ability to just put it to sleep. So, you really kind of have to beat it all in one run. I mean, you get the checkpoints that help when you die, but you have to start the level and beat the boss if you want to progress to the next thing. So it's cool to play it in a bit of a handheld fashion. I'm certainly enjoying that. The music is so good. I can't get over how much I love that soundtrack.
Who did that? Was that Disaster Piece?
No, who's just as good. His name is Vert. Jake Kaufman, I think's his name.
Oh, okay.
Very.
Did he do Contra 4? Is he the same guy?
He may have done Contra 4. I don't know. He's done other stuff with Way Forward. So he may have been involved with like the DuckTales remastered. Because the Yacht Club games that did Shovel Knight were old Way Forward guys.
Yeah.
So
okay, Mighty Switch Force.
Mighty Switch Force is another one.
Shantae.
Yep.
Oh, Double Dragon Neon, one of your favorites.
I hate that game, but the music was excellent. I will give it credit for that. But yeah, unbelievable. So, and then also, I finally beat the first stage of Black Rock Mountain in Hearthstone. I didn't talk about it that much, but Dustin, have I ever gone in to explain to you how the Hearthstone expansions work?
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is they basically come up with these AI scenarios. So you're not playing a real person.
Mm-hmm.
and they'll do like really screwy stuff. So I think last week I talked about a situation where, and this wouldn't have made much sense to you, but I have your attention now, so sure. But what would happen is the AI enemy would have the availability to use 2 mana crystals and shoot you for 30 damage, which effectively kills you.
Mm-hmm.
And they put a minion on the board on the enemy side that prevents him from shooting you with his hero power. So as long as you kept that one minion alive, then you were good to go.
Yeah.
And then you could beat him. So it took me 3 tries to get that, and then I beat the first 2 stages on my first try. So honestly, this expansion was really easy. But one of the things that it does is when you get through part of an expansion, it also unlocks a class challenge. So there's 9 different classes in, I think there's 9, in Hearthstone. And they'll have a situation where, for example, the mage. The mage has one card that when you play it, it randomly spawns another card that goes into your deck and reduces the cost to play that card by 3 mana, which is substantial. Well, the game on this one is that's all you get are those cards that spawn new cards for you. So you have to like play a card, then you get a random one back and hope that it's good enough to actually play it in the real game. And every card you draw is one of these. God, this is so confusing to try to explain. Now that I'm hearing myself, it's crazy. But anyways, the mage challenge was a lot of fun. And I wish I knew the name of the card that did the spawning, but it was really good. And then also I think it was Hunter that I also played. So Mage and Hunter were the first 2 classes unlocked. That was pretty cool. So that's pretty much all I did gaming wise. But I got a movie that I think you should watch, Dustin. Have you ever heard of John Wick?
Yes.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I watched it on the PlayStation Network. Like, I was pretty excited about it. I thought it was going to be good. Mm-hmm. I watched on the PlayStation Network, and I immediately went on Amazon and bought the Blu-ray.
Oh, okay. See, I think this is going to be a Blu-ray buy for me, too.
Yeah.
It's Keanu Reeves, which a lot of people don't like him. I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
He's in so many movies that I like. And I remember seeing previews for John Wick and thinking like, oh my God, this looks like a pretty cool like action flick. Mm-hmm. But I assumed that there would be like a bit of depth to the story. There's really not. They give you a motivation and action.
Yep.
And that is what the movie is.
Yep.
It was
awesome.
It was awesome.
It's great action.
Yes, it was very well done action. And I saw a tweet from Will Smith at Tesla.com that it was rentable for 99 cents the other day. So I rented it, watched it. Now, I haven't bought the Blu-ray yet, but I definitely think that this is going to be in my Blu-ray collection. Because I've told you before that in order for me to put a movie on my server, it has to be a movie that that either my friend John has or that I've bought on Blu-ray. Mm-hmm. And I've got a rule for Blu-rays for the most part. And it's got to be a movie that I'm going to want to watch several times to be able to own it. And I think I want to watch this movie a couple of times.
Yeah. I got the Blu-ray DVD combo, and I gave the DVD to my brother-in-law, and he watched that movie like 4 times in a 48-hour period.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that movie is awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun to watch. And it was like the motivation, like the way they show you the motivating thing behind the movie. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really well done. Like I was motivated right there along with the main character.
Yeah.
You know, like it was like, what the fuck? So, and this is a bit of a spoiler, but not too much. Theon Greyjoy from Game of Thrones is one of the actors in it. You don't watch Game of Thrones, do you? Mm-hmm. So there's this guy that is getting tortured in very gross ways on that show. And he is the dickhead in this movie. You know, the son?
Oh, okay. So the guy, basically.
The guy. So,
okay.
Well, he's also a main actor in Game of Thrones.
Oh, all right.
And does a really good job in Game of Thrones as well. So
Sweet.
But yeah, John Wick, I would highly recommend it. It was a fun action movie, and for the $1 that I spent, it was... Man, Amazon would get so much money out of me if their rentals were $1 and $2.
Oh, yeah.
I would rent all the time from them. But instead, they're more like $5 or $6.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know.
That's just above the impulse purchase for me.
Yep, me too. One that I think that I am going to bite the bullet on and spend the full amount is the documentary or whatever called Whiplash that won Academy Award. It's about the jazz drummer. Yeah. My brother and sister both told me it was amazing, so I have to watch it. And baseball started. More sports, yay! Our video game fans, our listeners love to hear that. But anyways, baseball started. And J.K. Simmons, one of the actors that was in the Whiplash movie, turns out he's from Detroit. Throughout the opening pitch of the game, I don't think it was opening day, maybe it was the second game, and they interviewed him, and he talked about how cool it was to make the movie, and he's from Detroit, and he's a big Tiger fan. And I'm like, oh man, a huge Detroit Tiger fan is in this movie as well. Like, count me in. if you're an actor and you're a fan of the sports team that I like, I immediately start to like you. So I can give you an example. What do you think of Vince Vaughn?
He's all right.
I love him now because at Notre Dame games, he's from Chicago. He's a big Notre Dame fan.
Mm-hmm.
They do this thing where they have the players march through the crowd of people.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get up and like high five players as they're going into the stadium. And Vince Vaughn starts walking behind the team, high fiving everybody like as he's almost like he's part of the team. Like it was really funny, and I saw this happen, and like out of nowhere, it's like, oh my god, that's freaking Vince Vaughn in the player march. Like this is wild. This is so cool. Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots, a big Notre Dame fan.
Oh, wow.
So I forgave him for his terrible heroin addiction and breaking up the band, because I think Stone Temple Pilots are great. But it makes me like him even more that he's an Irish fan. That kind of stuff. I know it's silly and petty, but it's cool. Like when I see someone rocking the old Detroit D, I love it.
Before we break away from sports, not only... So it was basically the worst case scenario, right? Because not only did Notre Dame lose and North Carolina lost, but Duke won the national championship.
Oh, that's right. That was heartbreaking because Notre Dame should have beat Kentucky.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
That was so close, but they didn't. But I really thought that they had the game in hand. I thought they were going to be able to pull that off. But you're right, man. And it really stings as a Notre Dame fan this year to have Duke win it all, because Notre Dame beat Duke twice this year.
Yeah.
And then it stinks for you because screw Duke, right?
That's right.
Actually, when I was a little kid, I liked Duke. There's just something about the name. Maybe it was because it was like poop. I don't know.
The only thing that Duke has going for them is that at one point they had a parapsychology class.
That's true. They did. No, I don't even think it was a class. I think it was, in their mind, legitimate research.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd would have loved it.
Yeah.
He's all into that stuff. So, okay. Well, let's talk. I mean, there's really no news. Okay, here's what I have on news right now. Do you care about Lego Dimensions?
What's that?
Lego is doing Skylanders and Amiibo.
Oh, so it's a Lego version of that?
Mm-hmm. But they'll have, like, Lord of the Rings, DC characters, like Batman and Superman, I'm assuming, and all that kind of stuff. Lego movie characters.
Well, the worst part of that is that Lego characters suck. They look stupid. They're the blocky Lego guys.
I mean, I like Lego games. They're fun. I don't
But
know
if you're getting like a Lord of the Rings amiibo or whatever the hell you want to call it, you want it to look awesome, right? You want your Gandalf to look freaking amazing.
Instead, and I don't know how big these things are going to be, if they're going to be amiibo size or whatnot, but you're right. I mean, what kind of detail are they really going to be able to put into them? Because they're just Lego men.
Yeah.
And it'll look like the Batman from the Lego. I don't know. Like, there's some people that were pretty excited about it, but I thought it was kind of meh. If there was actually news happening, this wouldn't be on the list.
That's true, yeah.
YouTube is moving into a scenario that you can subscribe to YouTube in general and get ad-free videos. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. I'm with you. The ad system doesn't bother me at all.
No, I don't mind the ad system. I leave ad blocker off. Like, I sit through the ads. And
yeah, same here. It's a little bit different. Like with Giant Bomb, I do that because I like to support them.
Mm-hmm.
With YouTube, they're like some huge part of Google, so who cares?
Yeah.
If it was like, maybe if I like somebody on YouTube where I could subscribe to them specifically, I might think about doing that.
Twitch does that.
Yeah.
Like, to subscribe to someone on Twitch, I think you can follow them for free, but to subscribe to somebody, they have to be a Twitch partner, and it costs like $5 or something to subscribe, I think. I don't know. I haven't done it.
Just YouTube in general? No thanks.
No,
I'll watch the ads.
See, and here's what I'm really curious about, is I already get ad-free music on YouTube because I subscribe to Google's music service. You know, there's like Spotify, Pandora.
Right, yeah.
RDO, all those. I'm the only person I know, but I subscribe to Google's version of the music service, and it actually works really well. On my phone and my tablet, it works really well. The desktop version kind of stinks. But I'm kind of Google-fied, if you will, so I didn't mind picking them as the platform that I went with. But yeah, I mean, I can't think of an amount that I'd be willing, like, to turn ads off. It would have to be a pretty low amount of money for me to, want to be interested in subscribing to YouTube in general. I'm with you, man. I'll support people directly.
Yeah.
But I won't subscribe to YouTube just to turn ads off.
But at that point, most of these people that you would want to support would already have a Patreon. So
yeah, exactly, which is great.
Yeah. Unless YouTube does something nefarious where they like, okay, now all ads are 1 minute and 30 seconds, unskippable.
Yeah. And if that happens, I'll
probably just stop watching YouTube.
Yeah, really. I mean, because part of the great thing about YouTube right now is, yeah, they do some funky stuff, but in general, it's a really good platform for getting entertainment.
Yeah.
Or
education. They have a lot of cool stuff up.
I'd say especially education.
Yeah.
When I mean, even my parents have gotten to the point where when they want to know how to do something, yes, they'll ask me if it's technology related, but when it comes to like Photoshop and things like that, my dad will just go on YouTube and learn how to do it, which is really cool. So yeah, okay, that's another thing in news. And then I guess the biggest news that I could come up with this week was Deus Ex. There's a new Deus Ex game announced. I've never played one, but a lot of people were really excited. The last one was well reviewed. What was it called? Human Revolution? Was that the most recent one?
Yeah, that was the last one that came out.
I feel like Paul Taylor, during one of the interviews that we had with him and Snare, didn't he say that was his game of the year?
I think so.
Which would have been like 2 years ago.
maybe longer.
Maybe. Which another thing that's crazy. So I was looking through some old social media stuff and realized that our interview with Patrick Klepek was a year ago.
Man. That's one of those where it doesn't feel like a year, but at the same time it does.
It does, yeah. For me, it just didn't feel like it because I just couldn't believe we've put out that many Classic Elite things.
That's a good point. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because we've done pretty good with that. So, Yeah. And then since we are kind of light in show stuff this week, I did want to actually go through YouTube a little bit.
Okay.
People, we've got an email from Mike, so we'll get to that here in a second. Our number one emailer, which they've just put out a new episode of the Retrocast, which I enjoyed listening to while I worked today. But what I wanted to do was go through and give some shout outs to a couple of people that have commented on our videos. The podcast videos. Our normal ones we won't get to, but it's still kind of cool that we have some interaction on our two previous podcasts, so I kind of wanted to go over that stuff and give shout outs to people. So the Zarek Gaming Channel, who's been someone that has commented on our stuff quite a bit, over the last year or two, left a comment on our last episode. He says that I really enjoyed this. Thank you. I have trouble finding mature gaming podcasts. Keep it up. So that was really cool to hear. That felt really nice. I'll have his YouTube channel linked in the description below. Really cool. He's got a funny cat meme, which is fun.
That I laugh every time I see his thumbnail.
Whenever he comments, I always crack up too. I think it's great. And then also wanted to give a shout out to Duhmez, Duhmez. He also has a YouTube channel, and he does more retro stuff. I've checked out some of his videos, and just wanted to go over some of the comments that he left on the last video. And also wanted to give him a shout out because he was one of the people that we gave away a Heroes of the Storm beta key to. So hopefully he's enjoying that. We're buddies now on Blizzard, but every time I log in, he's away. So I haven't had a chance to play any games with him. But
I wonder if he lives on the other side of the world or something.
He might. I don't know. He might live on the other side of the world. He certainly grew up in the States.
Okay.
He speaks our brand of English. So, but anyways, on our last video, talking about controllers. He says my Wii U controller lasts over 60 hours, and he bought it in November of 2012. So WTF is Sony PlayStation? So why the fuck is the Sony PlayStation doing that's eating up all the battery? I don't know. I have no idea. I think that's everyone's big question. He also mentioned some really cool stuff for the Wii U that's coming out, but it's not out yet because you know how we struggled with that in the last episode? Yeah. Splatoon's coming out. Devil's Third, which I'm not familiar with. Xenoblade, Zelda, Fatal Frame, and Yoshi's Woolly World. So those are some that we had forgotten to mention, but that was all that he could think of at the time. So it's not a lot coming out. I mean, when you don't have third-party support, it really shows, right?
Yeah.
And then also he says, cornholing with 3 question marks. Where I'm from, cornholing is putting your penis into a lady's asshole. Or a man's asshole, I don't judge. But he's right. Because I was mentioning that board game cornhole last episode, and he's right. It is a gross-sounding thing. And then... Where's Jim's comments? Son of a gun.
He commented on 133, I think.
Yeah. I'm not seeing it. Well, anyway, shout out to Jim. He doesn't do a YouTube. He's got a YouTube channel, but he doesn't make videos, does he?
I don't believe so.
So.
Let me check.
I think he's like me. I've got a personal YouTube channel, but I've got 0 subscribers, and I just use it to comment and follow people and stuff like that.
Curate favorites, that kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, well, anyways, he had some really nice stuff to say. Let me jump back. I'm going to get to it. Oh, I was looking for the wrong thumbnail. That would have had something to do with it. So, going back 2 episodes, he says, an excellent podcast this week, gentlemen. The first upload of the podcast to YouTube, I'm proud to say, came off very polished, crisp, and fluid. So thank you for that. It was his suggestion that got us to put these on YouTube, so he deserves to take a little bit of credit for that. He said, if there were technical difficulties beforehand, I haven't noticed any whatsoever. He said, I'll be doing my best to catch you guys live on Twitch each week, but if I'm unable to make it, I'm very appreciative of the combined effort to get this up on YouTube, where I absorb most of my content viewing. See you soon, Jim. So, yeah, Jim, thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate your support.
Word.
Like, really appreciate it. It's awesome.
Yeah. He comments almost every video for, like, freaking forever.
Yeah, like year or two now. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite people on YouTube. So, definitely thank you very much for that. And speaking of favorite people, Mike T wrote us an email. So if you would like to write us an email, classicleet@gmail.com is our email address. That's classicl337. Also, you can hit us up at classicleet.com. Just click on Contact Us, fill out the form, and it'll go right to our Gmail box. Don't worry, we don't collect anything and sell it to big businesses. So, do you have the email pulled up, Dustin?
Yep.
Go ahead and fire away.
All right. Mike T says, hello all. I'm happy to say I'm around 9 hours in my second playthrough of Sword Art Online HF. I don't remember what the HF is. And I'm about halfway back to where I was. Things are a lot faster this time around, and I'm actually a higher level because I'm more efficient at combat and leveling. Also, first time around, it took me around 2 hours to figure out how to sleep with Straya. For some reason, Yui was cock-blocking me when I was trying to carry her up to my room. This time, only 10 minutes and no Yui cock-block. Awesome. Dustin mentioned WrestleMania in the last show. Why is this a thing now? Hell, we even had to talk about it on Cartoon Retrocast. Granted, we were talking about WrestleMania 6 or some crap like that. Starman was pretty cool, though. Also, apparently I work in the same place that the main character from Axiom Verge worked before he was teleported to Zebes. Gordon Freeman also worked here. Mike T.
Yeah, which is pretty sweet. So I thought Mike was like a biologist because I knew he was a scientist of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's nuclear, man.
Oh, sweet.
It's like real badass. Yeah, I was super impressed.
Does he work at like a, what is that, a Hadron Collider?
Yeah.
Are you making black holes?
He's making mini black holes by colliding, I think it's gold particles.
Something like that,
they send near the speed of light at one another and smack into each other. Really
I'm
cool.
sure it's easy. It's easier
easy
said.
Of course. It's just bankrupted Switzerland to do it.
Now, what were they doing with money?
Yeah.
They were just hanging out in the middle of Europe.
Just being in the middle of all conflicts. But no, the CERN seems really cool. Yeah, have you ever seen any of the Large Hadron Collider stuff? Like any walkthroughs of the facility or anything like that?
I've seen like aerial photos where it's just like this huge circle.
Yeah. I think it's like 27
crazy.
miles or something.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. So cool. So, yeah. So I'm listening to the Cartoon Retrocast, right?
Mm.
And Jeremy is describing WrestleMania 6. Dude, I remembered everything he talked about. I was so into wrestling when I was a little kid. And Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan were the guys that faced off in WrestleMania 6. Mm. Did you ever get into wrestling when you were a kid?
I did not, but I had an older sister that was into wrestling.
Oh, interesting.
I think it was because it was a bunch of muscly, oiled up dudes.
Okay. Is your brother-in-law a muscly dude?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Nope.
So it must have just been a phase for her. You'll have to let him know, like, look, man, if you want her to stay around, check out WrestleMania 6.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, Mike, thanks a lot for writing in, man. Always really, really appreciate it. It's cool. He's kind of like... Mike would record with us more frequently if he didn't live on the left coast. Right?
That's what it's called, yeah.
So he is... Or if he didn't have kids, then he could record with us. That's really the main thing. Is it's a little late or a little early for him to record with us. But it's cool that he writes in with these emails that reference the previous emails.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like he's a guest on the show or like a co-host with us. And It's like Stephen Hawking's with us, and we only get to do because he's nuclear, right?
Right.
So we got the physics side of things, and all we're getting is text from him.
Yep, he's our asynchronous co-host.
Yes. So if we had like a Siri plugin for Skype, we could have that read his emails eventually.
Yeah,
and go full Stephen Hawking. So
I'm pretty sure there's a text-to-speech app somewhere on the web.
But
you
I
just plug his email in.
I needed to plug into Pamela.
Oh yeah. Ooh. Let's not mess with Pamela.
No, she's been good today.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate.
So we hit stop record and everything catches fire.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that'll happen. Well, now we've got 2 backups for recording, so we're in good shape. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I that's pretty much it for the show this week. I know it's just been Dustin and I sort of rambling a little bit. Nothing real exciting to talk about. Neither of us played a bunch of games. The whole world apparently didn't play a bunch of games.
It's really close to E3.
It is really close. God, that is nuts. Anything that you're hoping for E3? I mean, I've got nothing that I'm really
good games.
Yeah.
Nothing specific. I just want good games to come out.
I'm totally there with you. So cool. All right, everyone. Well, as far as outro music is concerned this week, I'm going to play something by an artist named Octopus, and the song is called Tofu. And I'm the only one in the world probably that listens to... Oh, no, maybe DJ Cutman will be aware of this. But anyways, the group Hello World, who I've played on the show before, one of the guys from that group does like Amiga chiptunes, and that's what Octopus is. So that's where the song is coming from, so hopefully you'll enjoy it. If you enjoy it enough, you can go download it through the links in the show notes. And then I just want to give a thank you, speaking of music, to Ben Landis for letting us use his music as our intros. Really appreciate it. Actually, I had a buddy of mine, Nate, who's written into the show. He gave me some feedback, and he went back and listened to some early episodes. He said we made the right call changing the intro song. He's like, it just starts the show off with a better vibe. I was like, oh, cool. So,
what was the original one? Was it the...
It was from Critical Failure.
Yeah. Was it the one that we used at the beginning of YouTube videos?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like that song too, so don't get me wrong. But the Ben Landis just seemed to fit the show a little bit better, which is cool. And also make sure to follow us on Twitter. We're at Classic Leet. Our Facebook is facebook.com/Classic Leet. And again, most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Classic Leet. Thanks a lot for listening, and we will see you next week for episode 136.
Boosh.
Yeah, there it is.